Hello, my YouTube friends, and happy Thursday. A little embarrassed that as annoyed as I am at Starbucks, I actually bought some shares to add on to my position. Going with that theory of bad news, great companies. They do have a great brand, and we'll talk about that, as well as some things I've been seeing about Boeing in terms of the price action that I'd like to see, and Archer Daniels Midland, three stocks I've talked about before. So stick around. Good afternoon. My name is Adam Kahn, and this is Investing with Adam K. I hope you're all doing well. I can't believe how fast the week has gone by. It's already Thursday, May 9th. I can't believe how fast the year's going by. I guess, the older you get, the faster it goes. Gotta appreciate that time and really enjoy it. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about Starbucks. I'm a little embarrassed to admit I actually bought some yesterday and some the day before as well. It's hard for me not to, even though I'm annoyed with the CEO. I was very unhappy with the things he said, and I think they have a lack of direction for the future. At the same time, they still earn a good amount of money. I think that they're going to be in business a long time, and whether that CEO is around today or not, one day he'll be gone. Somebody will get some direction, and I think they'll continue to grow. I remember about the things I talked about with McDonald's that over the 40 years that I had owned it, if you've seen it in some of the other videos, that there were three or four times during that time span that the stock dropped in half or more. Meanwhile, if I just stuck with it over those 40 years, they continued to perform, and I did extremely well with it. I'm going to have that same faith in a company like Starbucks. Yes, they have more competition. There are others selling caffeinated beverages. You've also had a move into those, rock stars and Red Bulls and the other ones that are a little bit different than coffee. But somewhere, somehow, I think they'll manage to get through it. They'll start performing again, and if I give it 20 years, I'm hoping that they have grown. I'm not going to worry about the short term. I'm not going to worry about the fact that the CEO, in my opinion, was terrible and answered questions awfully with his action plan and the discussions about the occasional user not recognizing their value proposition. Well, maybe you're not giving them a good value proposition, and it's not them not recognizing what you think they should. So again, I was really annoyed with the things he said. I don't think he gave any confidence to the shareholders, but still a good brand, still going to last a long time, and I'm just going to continue to have faith in it because outside of that, nothing has fundamentally changed in my mind. I don't picture them going out of business. I don't think they're a bad company. I just think they had a rough quarter, and maybe they'll have another one or two rough quarters. In the meantime, they're still paying an okay dividend, so I'm happy to receive that. Hopefully, they continue to make enough cash to pay the dividend as well as their debt, and they get into the position that they actually start growing again. I'm also getting more and more confident on the Boeing trade. Part of the reason is it seems to get an awful lot of pushback from people who don't like it, similar to when I talked about Tesla and how it was acting. I understand Boeing had a lot of problems and has a lot of problems. They have a lot of bad media, but that's where I really want to discuss about when the bad news is going on. Of course, that's when a stock is going to be at the lows. If you look at a long-term chart of any stock, it looks really easy to point to the places where you'd want to buy it and where you'd want to sell it. But if you started looking into that and seeing what was going on, my guess is at the bottoms is when things looked really scary and there was bad news and people were panicking. And at the tops was the opposite. Things were going really well, earnings were growing, and people were overexcited about the companies. Same if you look at a long-term chart of the S&Ps or the Dow. I mean, go back to the 1920s and look at when the crash happened. It looks really obvious at times when you'd want to be buying the market as a whole. But there were a lot of things going on that were super scary and high unemployment and things like that. So when I see the planes crashing and the whistleblowers and all the things coming out in Boeing that are really bad news on a company that has good income coming in, and projected future growth of that income. They should be able to predict that stuff pretty well because the airline companies are placing those orders and it takes a really long time to build the planes. So while some companies are going to have a tough time figuring out where they're going to be in 2 or 3 years and what type of income is coming in, it should be really easy or easier. I don't want to overstate it and say really easy for a company like Boeing to be able to predict what type of earnings they're going to have in 3 or 4 years. And they're supposed to be doing about 4 times as amount of earnings that they're doing today over the next 4 years. I see that as an ability for the stock to go significantly higher without the PE changing a whole lot and without much changing. All they really need is the bad news to stop being talked about. And I'm guessing unless they have another plane crash, or unless something else happens with a whistleblower, or unless they can't get the thing going to space off the ground, or some major issues, that if we give it 6 months, nobody's going to be talking about it anymore. Look, we're planning a vacation. I don't look at what type of plane we're traveling on. It doesn't even cross my mind. Now, I know one of the guys I worked with, when I said something to him, kind of laughed and said he checks all of that stuff and he doesn't want to fly one of the planes. But similar to what I said about what happened at Chipotle years ago, I'm guessing if you give him a year or two, he'll have forgotten about it, he'll feel more comfortable, and eventually won't be paying attention to if it's a Boeing plane or Airbus or whomever that he's traveling on. So I just see it as an opportunity to pick up shares. And I really saw, I did the video on the day that it was down, I think, $176 to reiterate it, because I think that range under $180 is a really good area to be picking up the stock. Just my opinion. Like always, this is not financial advice. Please don't follow what I suggest. You have to do your own research. Reach out to a financial advisor to get advice on what you should do for your accounts. I'm just sharing what works for me and what I look at. I don't know how many of you have been paying attention to Archer Daniel Midland as well. Today, when it closed, it was at $62 a share. It's already up $10, $11 from the lows when we were talking about it, when the bad news was coming out about the chief financial officer and the nutrition's department having some, not so straightforward information on the numbers. But they generate a lot of money, and this is the most discounted I've seen the stock in 10 years. They're a good company that's really enmeshed in all sorts of food and delivery processes. I don't see anybody coming around and taking their business away. I don't really see it causing them to have a huge decline in earnings. And honestly, over the long run, despite the short run ups and downs from emotions, earnings and growth is what should drive a stock's price. So seeing it on sale the way that it was and still is, even though it's already up $10 so far, I see Archer Daniels Midland as a great long-term own or hold or whatever you want to call it. I think you're getting in at a great valuation. I think this comes around rarely, and it's one of those that you should own for the long term. And like like Starbucks, they pay an okay dividend. You're getting over a 3.5% yield last I looked, or at least it's above 3%. So you're getting a good return on your money. And the way I think about that is like, if I'm lending a company money, they're paying me that to borrow it. Now, you're not really lending them the money, you own stock, so you own part of the company. Archer Daniels Midland, they're a great company, they're well diversified. I think it works out really well. And then one bonus one that I didn't talk about in the beginning, I've really been liking the price action of UPS. I know I had mentioned it in another video. Anywhere below $150 a share, they're paying a 4.5% dividend right now. And what a great company. They're on that list as well. I wouldn't put them in the Metas and the Amazon category, but I really think they're a great company that's been around a long time and makes a good amount of money. If you can pick them up and get 4.5% dividend, I see that as a great opportunity. Again, this is not financial advice. Make your own decisions. Please don't use any of my information to make those decisions. You have to do your own research. Anyway, enjoy your Thursday. I'm going to go pick up my kid at school and hang out with my wife for a bit. Hopefully, you guys have some fun plans for the weekend. Before I forget, hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, make some comments. Let me know the stocks you guys love. I know I repeat the same ones. Feel free to tell me the same ones because I look into them and I like some of the ones some of you have recommended. We got some friends coming over this weekend. Maybe I'll take a picture of it. I'm going to make some ribs for them. I have a smoker that I bought during COVID that I really enjoy when I cook with it. Anyway, again, enjoy your day. Hopefully the weather's as nice where you are as it is here. Bye bye.